Welcome everybody to another amazing Monday night call. And tonight we are super blessed to have the amazing Jess Fuller with us. And I don't know if you guys have ever had a cyber mentor before. It's someone that it helps you out, that you've watched for a long time to see how they have become successful in their journey in a business or in something that you really want to be successful in. And they probably don't even know that you're watching them and learning from them. So one good thing is when you get to eventually tell that person that they've been that for you and that they're part of your success is because of them being amazing. And sometimes you get to do it live on a Monday night call and you get to tell people like Jess that you've been watching them for like 3 years in the business and you're still learning from to this day. So without going too deep into the fanboy stuff, tonight I'm going to do something a little bit different. And I'm going to pass it over to Beck McCullum, who's going to introduce Jess in a way that Jess deserves to be introduced. So I'm going to pass it over to Beck.
Thank you so much, Joel. He only just asked me to do this, so it's very off the cusp. So that's probably good because everything I'm about to say comes completely from the heart. So I met Jess, I don't even know how many years ago it was now. My twins are 8, so 8 years, nearly 9 years ago in a mother's group. And we had these big visions, these huge visions, and we used to have the most incredible chats that were just so visionary and just so inspiring and just get ourselves so excited about what life could be. And Jess was the very first person that saw the vision of Juice Plus, and she was the very first person that joined my team. And I know that they often say, Jess often says thank you to me, but I have to say Jess Fuller is the girl that changed my life. Jess Fuller is the instigator and the main reason that I'm in England now with my family, because she said yes and she saw a vision that I hadn't yet been able to see. And through many years of tantrums, talking about tantrums, and I've had many of them over the years, I always look back at Jess and I always think, you know what, she's still here, she's still going, I can keep going and I'm still here. So I'm not going to talk anymore, but I'm going to pass you on to the wonderful Jess, who I know is now about to talk about some of those challenges and how to overcome them. And she will do it in such a funny and beautiful way, because that's how Jess always presents. And she's very raw, very real, very vulnerable, and she's just the most incredible, heart-driven, gorgeous human being. So welcome, Jess, to the call.
Oh, stop it. Oh, Beck, thank you. Joel, thank you.
Put them away, please, go and put your TV on down there.
We'll just make sure everyone's on mute. Thank you so much, Beck. Oh, my goodness. I do remember those chats in my lounge room, and we were just like, big vision, and it was crazy. We didn't know how we were going to make any of that happen. But we're still, side by side on this journey. And I'm pretty sure most of the people on here are Juice Plus, right? Is that safe to say? There's a fair bit of the community on. So it was, it was just, it's so precious to have that history with Beck, and to have someone still there that I can chat to about those times. It was just great. So, and I tell the story as well, I almost didn't join the team, I almost didn't join because the coffee shop was shut and I had all these fears, and I was like, well, that's probably a sign from the universe. So I'm not going to, we'll just cancel it, and then she's like, no, we're catching up for coffee. We'll find another coffee shop, So I was trying to get out of it, because how many people try and get out of it because they've got all these, reservations. So that was me. And, we caught up and the rest is history. And yes, there has been so many challenges along the way. More than I can count, but I do believe that every challenge along the way is there for us Okay. It's not, life's happening for us, not to us. And it's what we learn along the way. And I guess I want to also start with what I love about this business and why I will not quit on a bad day. I will not let the challenges get the better of me, because I believe that this business or this profession actually has, if I was to walk away when challenges came along, it would mean that I was saying no to growing, because that's the truth. It's like, if something comes up and I'm like, this is too hard, I'm out, I don't want to deal with this today, then it's me basically saying I'm not up for it and I don't want to overcome that and I'm not willing to grow. So it's kind of got me in like this choke hold, you could say, like it's not like, it will not let me go because it's just, that's what it is for me. I love that. And I love that all the challenges that come along, it's just showing me what I need to learn. So, and a side note, I will, if my laptop cuts out here, I will be on my phone. I'll be back in like 20 seconds. Okay. So just putting that out there. So challenges. Now, the one thing that I can sort of share is that has definitely gotten me through and helped me get up and take that next step, keep putting one foot in front of the other, is having that purpose, that's something inside that is burning. And that when things are going really, really bad or something's come up, there's that something inside that is just saying, take one more step. And that for me really came about, back when I was in retail. I'd had my first baby and I had to go back to work when my son was 4 months old. Now for me, I was like, shit, how did I let this happen? How did this happen? I had to go back. Financially, we just could not have any more time off. And I beat up on myself so bad for that, because I was missing out on so much time. And I was like, how did this happen? Then I moved into personal training. I started my own business, and that was all, well and good. But it was back in that retail space that I realized that I didn't have any power, and I was very much controlled by my job and by the amount of dollars that I was worth per hour, or I was on a salary. So I thought and then my son was sick. I had to leave, resign, take early maternity leave, because my son was sick. He was learning to walk and he got an autoimmune disease and he couldn't walk and he had arthritis and there was all these challenges, and I stopped working and they cut my paid parental leave. And back when you're working and there is no work for yourself back then, in my brain, it didn't register. That was it for me. And that was cut. And I worked for this company for 10 years and I wasn't able to get my paid parental leave because I left 3 weeks early. So that I was not happy. So I quit. And I quit and I went on this, on this mission to not only go and build my own empire where I can create what I want, but also empower other people to do the same. Okay, so it's really empowering women and people to become those people in power, so that they can go and create their empire and their legacy and the life that they want to live. Because that's my purpose. That's that inside thing that is doesn't matter what is going on every day. It's just this inner thing that's going on. If you've got that, who's got that? Who feels something compelled to do something other than the day-to-day stuff that they're doing in just life? So So that's the purpose. Now, if you've got that, that is so, so important. So I definitely encourage you guys, go get really clear on why you're doing this. And obviously this empowering women to become those women in power and create their empire. It's Juice Plus is a huge part of that. Okay, because it aligns with everything that I love. I love to learn. I love to teach. I love, wealth creation. I love community. I love connection. There's so many things. It's all my team. I'd say, yeah, right now. I would, all my team women. So I'm just quickly looking over at the comments there. A Q&A at the end. Is that okay? Cool. So what I realize is also that average or normal doesn't really cut it. It is about really creating something, and something that when life happens that you don't crumble, because I think the majority of people are living like that, and they have their wage, they have their salary. However, if life gives them a whack, they're not prepared. Okay, so that for me is such a driver. It's such a driver. For example, my dad he travels for work, and he travels and he works, but he has to work essentially to create income to pay for things. However, he's injured while he's away and he cannot come back. Like, he's working and he cannot come back, and that's a driver for me, because I wish that he didn't have to do that. Yeah. So that's an example, when someone's sick in the family, when you lose your job, when someone's made redundant, because that was the case for me. So fast forward, we're in personal training mode now, and then my husband was made redundant. So all of a sudden 2 incomes down to 1 income. So this is another whack. Not really ready for it. So now there's all this extra pressure. We've got the mortgage, we've got 2 babies now, and 1 income. And in an industry that I was fresh in, but I was passionate about it, and I was supporting the family. So again, that was another driver for me. I was like, this is not okay. I don't want this to be my reality, because you never know. You never know when life is going to throw those big whacks to you, and you've got an opportunity to go and prepare yourself, every single day. So that's a big driver for me. So your purpose really being that invisible armor for you. It's something that if you've got it, you will be okay. You will keep getting up. You will keep taking one step and putting one foot in front of the other. Okay. So that's a little bit about, coming into the profession. I joined Beck, and it was great. And one of the things that I share, we moved quite quickly as a team. Now, the challenges with that came really thick and fast as well. We've got to grow with our business. So, if you're someone who doesn't particularly respond well to challenge or pressure, for example, then, it's your business is going to move at that pace. But I was really thriving in that environment. I really loved it. And then it was about 18 months into the business, and my husband ups and leaves. Okay. So my husband was actually a huge part of why I started this, because he was home, remember, being made redundant. He was home with the children, and I loved that. I was like, that's what I want. I want to be able to do that. I want him to have the flexibility to go and work, where he wants, and not have the pressure of going to get full-time work and just for the money and all this stuff. So he was actually a huge part of why I started. But then all of a sudden, that's not there anymore. So, it was really reassessing and remembering, that purpose. because the why can change. The why, as in, you know, that the reason why you get started, that will change. Things change, life changes, but your purpose is always going to be there. You know, like I still got up, you know, we were a couple of weeks out from NMD, and I still got up because my purpose was so much stronger, because I had to step into that. I had to show up because there was a team of people, and that was, you know, that's where I was compelled to be at the time, you know, that actually got me through. So, you know, I'm just wondering if I change over. I've got 4% battery. I'll just keep going, and then you can improv, Joel, as until I jump on. So then we, you know, it was all well and good. Like, this was my saving grace at that time. You know, I was single. I was this independent mama. I had no financial challenges because I had built a 6-figure income from this business. So I was like, whoa, like so grateful for like just a new level of gratitude for this business, because I was like, whoa, where would I be without that? I don't know where I would be without it. So remember, this is not about what life is like right now, because you never know what is around the corner. If you ask anybody in my circle, no one would have predicted that happening, you know. So, you know, that's, you just never know. So then we go through more growth. Great. And then anyone had their business like crash and burn? Anyone had a decline in business? Just 3 people, or, well, everyone's on videos off, but anyone had to, most people. But if you have that, like, you know, it is inevitable if you're here for the long game. And I know that I am. And I'm playing a long game. And when you commit to something long term, you've got to understand that you're going to go up and you're going to go down, and you're going to learn, you're going to go up, you're going to go down. It's going to continue like that. So that's what happened to me. You know, we had it was thriving, it was growing, and then there was a bit of a crash and burn. And when I realized that it was my purpose, I honestly just take full responsibility for what happened in my business, because I had lost focus on my purpose. It was flaky. I was flaky, you know. So it was the collapse and rebuild, you could say. Okay, so again, challenge so many times, you know. If I hadn't tapped back into why I'm doing this and that purpose, I'd have been gone. Like I said, it's got me in a chokehold. Like, you know, things keep happening, but I'm like, no, because if I leave, I'm not learning what I need to, and I'm not growing. Okay, so that, you know, and we're rebuilding better and stronger, and with much stronger foundations and a new vision moving forward. You know, we're really helping people create those fulfilling, joyful businesses that aren't based on pressure and like so much craziness. So we've learnt so much in that happening. So again, super grateful for that. But what gets me through is that purpose. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop trying to help people, you know, really get their power back. And, you know, you only need really, apart from yourself, you only really need that handful of people that have your back. And that, you know what, when things are really not going well, when there's challenges left, right, and center, the people that are around you that are just going, what's next? And I have that. And I'm so, so grateful for that and to have those people, because without them, then it's, you know, it's really hard. It's hard to keep going. So remember and appreciate the people that are around you, that see your vision and that are there through it all. Okay. Do we want to open it up for a little bit of Q&A, or a bit of a segue, because I need to change because my battery's about to go flat?
Yeah, well, guys, have you got any questions so far? Because it's great that we get people on here that have got successful businesses, but I think the gift that Jess is giving us tonight is that she's teaching you about how to come back from disaster, you know, and being very open and vulnerable. So, like, I think building that muscle through that time in your business and life, it's not all just specifically about the business. This is transferable across all areas of life. Like, if you've got any questions on how to be this resilient and to hang in there and to love the chokehold, fire them away. Let's go. Unusual.
Right, I think
Elizabeth has a question.
I've always got a question. So Jess, I guess when you come back from something like that, how did you do the first thing? Because obviously after you've had several experiences of this, where you've had that challenge and you've risen up again, and you've had the challenge and you've risen up again, every now and then you get to that point where it's like, oh God, it's been a week and I've done nothing, or oh God, it's been 3 weeks and I've done nothing. How did you just decide the first thing to do, and what was it every time?
Okay, hang on. I'm jumping off here, and then I'm going to be on my phone. Okay, so there we go. Can you hang on? Oh, is that good? Oh, excellent. Okay. So the question was, if we're out of action, how do we, like for a few weeks, how do we get back into action?
No, not how, but
sorry.
What specifically did you do for the first, like the very first thing that you did when you came back? What was that?
When I came back from what?
From inaction.
Well, I've never been out of action.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you had times where you were lulled and then times when you came back.
Yep.
So on the comeback, what was the first thing you did?
It was get clear again. And I think as you've really got to step into, you put the leader hat on, and you've got to have that courage to go after something that is important to you. And, you know, like it's reassessing, you know, sometimes it might just be like cleaning the slate and reassessing why you're doing this. What's the vision moving forward? Because if we don't have the clarity around where we're going, then we're just going to find ways to go around in circles. We're going to find ways to not act. We're going to find ways to self-sabotage. We're going to get distracted really easy. Anyone like just been like flailing around because they're just not clear.
So I guess that's the mindset part. I'm actually asking, what was the physical action that you did? So did you post something? Did you reconnect? Like, was it a post out to all your team members? Was it a post back on Facebook or Instagram? If it was a post, what was that post about? Was it product, or was it mindset, or was it vulnerable and, hey, this is what's been happening to me?
Yeah.
What was the action?
Yeah. So again, like it's, you know, the actions are very, I guess, they're going to be different for everybody as to what works. Like for me personally, I can pick up the phone and I can go, right, to get me into action, if I'm feeling a bit of a lull, and I do this quite, you know, often, is I will just pick up the phone and I will get an order. I will just get on the phone and start sharing when you are talking and you are sharing, you automatically just get into flow. But I think a lot of people sort of stop doing that. You know, doubt, the fastest way to eliminate doubt is to get into action. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm not going to say go do a post on Facebook. I'm not that person, and I don't lead like that. I don't give you a system as in like post this every single day, post about this, because every single person has something really special and has a different way to share. You know,
yeah, I was just interested in what you did.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a social media strategy that I use. So it's very much around impacting, inspiring, influencing, and moving people through those influence stages. So it's always getting vulnerable on social media. I mean, this isn't about, you know, like airing your dirty laundry. Like, it's not, you know, oversharing. Kind of, sometimes it can be, but it's coming from a place of where people know what you're doing and then why you're doing it. People can sort of fluff around and they can make it sound amazing and all this stuff, but if you just get, so journaling, that would be something. Okay, here's a good one. Journal. Right, this is a great thing that I teach. So go and journal, and what you're going to find in your journaling and your questions that you might ask, some thought provokers would be, what was happening in life before Juice Plus? What got you to say yes to Juice Plus? Like, specifically, like, journal everything, because what you'll come up with is a whole heap of content. And then you will see all these little posts pop up and you'll be like, oh, that's a post idea. And then you go and flesh out that part of your journaling. And then you make a post out of it. And like, always, but then again, when we're posting on social media, you know, impact posts, some people can be very impactful and they're like, look at my life, look at my life, look at my life. But that doesn't really inspire people because they don't know what it took. They don't know the journey. They can't connect or relate to that. So we've got to go back to the start and impact them from where we came from. So remember, when you're trying to impact your audience, and this, again, I mean, I could do a whole training around this, because it's about impacting people that, you know, okay, you've got an audience, but we're talking directly to the people that we actually want to help. We've got an audience. We've got to, we can't appeal to everybody. I'll come back. We can't appeal to everybody. And that's the thing. That's why my grandma isn't on my Facebook, because she's not really going to, like, it's not her jam. Like, she's not probably going to want to see that. You know, like, she's not my audience, you could say. So it's definitely a tool. So just remember, like, if you're impacting people, that remember that they're your audience, they're your target. However, they're not always going to be, they're not ready to buy. They're not ready to join because they don't actually know that there's anything wrong. You know, how many people are like, ignorance is bliss? They don't know what they don't know, but it's our job to help them realize that they can have more, be more. And it's impacting them from where, but don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed of sharing what life was like, and then what life is like. And it doesn't have to be a crazy lifestyle. It's just, there's always going to be little things that you're going to feel gratitude and be benefited by this business. And then in between, we're inspiring. So the inspiration is where people are like, oh, so you've impacted them because you're relating to them. They're like, me too. That's the thing, you know, always aim for your audience to be like, me too. And then you've impacted them, and then you're taking them on the journey. So, you know, you've got this constant cycle of posts, and it's always, am I impacting, inspiring, or influencing? And the inspiring posts are the journey. They're the challenges. That's where they can go, oh, maybe I can do that too. And they turn from someone who isn't ready to buy to someone who potentially is. Is that helpful? Is that sort of on the right track?
It's great.
I just wanted the first action. So when you felt you weren't okay, what was the first action? So I get the mindset stuff, I get the mindset shift, I get the journaling, I get all that. It was literally, what is the very first thing when you're sitting there going, I haven't done enough? What's the very first thing you do? And I think you answered that in saying you get on the phone and you get an order. So, I can appreciate that. So that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, get into action, go do some follow-up. And that'll kick you back into gear.
Sweet. Thank you.
Welcome. What else, Joel? Because I've lost all the questions on my other screen.
Okay, well, I can read some of them. So what was the tipping point, of being all in? So, yeah, what was the tipping point that made you go all in?
Oh, well, it wasn't really. Like, it was, I had, I was in Vegas. Okay, I know it. I was in Vegas on a holiday, and it was like the only holiday. And I wasn't going to go on another one for a long time, and we were ready to come home, and I remember I had a toothache. It was terrible, and I was like, I don't want to go back. This is like shit. I don't want to go back. I was just, how can I do this all the time? Not be in Vegas all the time, but just not have to worry about, are my clients all going to be there when I get back? You know, and I remember Beck put a post up. This was the thing, and this is where we talk about the impacting, inspire, influence post. Like Beck, you know, we were friends. Like Beck had sent me links upon links upon links, right? And she put a post up on Facebook, and it was her doing like an arrow in the throat, like the arrow break. And as she was at a personal development, I'm like, I'm into that stuff. I'm like, I don't know anyone. Like, how do I didn't have a tribe. I had books, and I was like, where are my people? And then she's there doing an arrow break, and I'm like, all of a sudden Beck has moved. Like, I already knew her story. No, it wasn't game plan Beck. I don't know if it was. It was like this tiny little, like, I don't even know what it was, a training day, the team spirit. And, you know, I knew Beck's story was impactful, and I knew where she'd come from. However, the inspiration didn't hit me until I saw her in that room doing the arrow break on her neck. And I was like, hey, like, when I get back, like, let's catch up. And then obviously I did some research, and it was a training day. And then I did my research, and then I saw people, John Holowati and people from the UK, and they're all just like thriving. And I'm like, wait up, like, if these people can do this, then so can I, you know. And I was always someone like, I'm up for a challenge. I love to learn. I wanted something to sink my teeth into, and I was like, I'll learn along the way. And for me, it was very different, because I've always been someone who has to, like, know everything first. And some people might be like that. Like, even if you join the team and you're like, no, I need to know every single detail first before I join. But I just realized, I was like, okay, that just wastes time for me now, because I don't have any more time. You know, like, I need to dive in, because I spent all this time, you know, learning about like the personal training and everything. And sure, I went in, I created a business, I was full, the busiest personal trainer in the gym, and that served me. However, I was like, I can earn while I learn. You know, and if I come in with enough passion, conviction, confidence, like, I was just rocking up with my friends like, hey, like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but this is what my life's going to look like in 12 months. Like, are you coming or not? It was like, I was like that, you know. And there were some people that were like, yeah, no, like have fun with that. I'm like, cool, catch ya, you know, and then they, you know, they join. Like I'm getting someone started who I talked to 4 years ago. And I look back at the messages and she's tried to pitch me from another company. And I'm like, what? Like in between. But she's come back. You know, so yeah, back to your question. It was the personal development. It's that knowing like who you're talking to. And that was the best post that Beck could ever have posted.
So Beck's like off camera now because she's out there taking photos for Instagram, doing another like arrow break in her neck. That's what she's doing. So, how do you reestablish and maintain a state of inspiration?
Oh, well, sometimes it's really difficult. Like, you know, let's be honest, like we're not always 100% going to be like firing and inspired and in flow. We're not. So sometimes, and particularly women, like let's be real about this. You know, like women, like we're cycling with the moon, you know, like it's, you know, let's be honest about this. So sometimes, you know what, sometimes it's like, you know what, today is just like a me day and I'm not feeling it today, you know. So, however, I allow myself that as well, you know. So it's just, again, back to the purpose, you know what you're doing, know that you're creating something bigger than you. And a great thing that I heard recently, all suffering is obsessive self-centric thinking. Okay, so when I heard that, I was like, whoa, okay. Now every time that I feel like I'm suffering, I'm like, you are being selfish because I'm just thinking about myself. And that's true. Anyone that you talk to that's like down and they're uninspired, their life is bad, they're just self-centric thinking right then in that moment. So zoom out. When you feel like that, zoom out. Realize that you are like this tiny, you know, speck. But your presence here can create something so huge, and we're here in this tiny slice of time. Like we're here for this tiny slice of time in comparison to all of time. And you know, so many of us choose to sit and wallow. That can bring me out of, you know, an uninspired state pretty fast. You might as well, you know, like if we're only here for a short time and we're going to live ever after, we might as well be happy.
Brilliant. Yeah, I totally agree. That was an amazing answer. Thank you. So do you have a particular avatar or do you rotate your avatar?
Avatar, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean, rotate my
So your
avatar?
target market, like
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it definitely has changed. It's definitely changed over the years. That's my answer.
Sensational. That's how you do it.
I mean, recently, yes, I did have a bit of a shift. I did have a shift in who I wanted to attract and who I wanted to work with. And it was definitely more people in the health profession, mums, people that, because I tapped out of a huge challenge of mine when I was a personal trainer. My huge challenge was that I was going to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was training clients. I was coming home at 7 o'clock in the morning to take, you know, my kids to wherever they are. I took one back into the gym with me. And my husband was, at the time, was, you know, he was just like crossing over, and then I would go back in at night time and do the grind then until late at night, you know. So when I started this, that was my life. And this was so inspiring to me that I was just doing it every second that I could, So anyway, back to the question. I like to just digress and jump around. But so I actually just recently remembered that, and like it gets blurry, but I was journaling and I remembered that, and I was like, that's the people. They're the people that I actually like to work with. They're the people that I feel their challenges. I can help them because that was me. So it's more of the health fitness professionals that are mumming and they're struggling because they are. Like, I know it. And also the health and fitness realm is so big now. There's so many people out there passionate about helping people, but they're grinding and they're slaving away with no known way out, like I was.
Amazing. Yeah. So, like I got a follow-up question, like, do you change it regularly or do you like pretty much stick to one thing for a period of time?
No, I really don't. Like, and I think it can change when you change. Like if you feel compelled, like go back to your purpose as well. If you go back to your purpose, I'm always just like, it's empowering women to become women in power. It's like, it's always going to fall into that.
Wow.
Don't feel, I mean, this is the thing. Don't go, oh, it's not working and I'm going to change it. I'm going to try this person. You're going to confuse everyone. Like, you're going to confuse everyone if you keep chopping and changing. So you want to build that trust, and like people just know you, like they tune into your channel and they just know who you are and what you're about and who you're talking to. Remember, that's so important. Talk to your tribe. And your tribe, talk to your tribe, regardless of whether they're in your tribe or out of tribe. They're all tribe. So talk to them directly and have no one else that, like, I don't have any other people that aren't on tribe looking at your stuff, because you'll water it down.
That was a great penny drop for me. That was amazing. Thank you. So how do you so not everyone would come into the business with you or into your tribe knowing their purpose, that you keep speaking about purpose, like maybe they haven't been through as many challenges as you and don't have that actual drive to jump from like you do. How do you help people identify like their purpose? Like, do you have a way to do that?
Well, yes, actually. Glad you asked. And it's really funny. It's like it's something that I was taught, and it definitely helped me. But thinking about things that, it's going to sound really funny, but thinking about songs from when you were a child or growing up, songs that just hit you in the heart, and I just think, and I'm already welling up because I think about how I feel when I hear some songs that are in my sort of, because when you have those songs, you are, they don't hit everybody. It's because there is part of the lyrics that connect with you, and you'll be surprised if you go back and you might just go, oh yeah, that song and that song. And you might actually realize that over the years, whether it's even movies, TV shows, like certain things that just hit you, they're really connected to your purpose. And I'm going to share one of my songs. Can I?
Sure. Go over it.
You can go and listen to it, and it'll give you an insight into how it might connect with you. I don't know. And I shared it with some girls the other night when we were out and we were having some drinks, and they gave me so much hate about it because they just gave me heaps of shit. And I was like, no one talks shit about my purpose song. So it is Garth Brooks and it's Standing Outside the Fire. So go listen to the lyrics. I mean, if you're into country music or not, it doesn't even matter. But it's always connected with me. And it's just one of my songs. So, you lost me at Garth Brooks. Yeah. So that's, you know, and it's about, you know, that whole song is about, you know, people are, you know, it's like it's okay to play small, and it's really talking about you've got to risk, you've got to take risk, you know, and I just love it. Go listen. I don't want to give it away, but just go listen to it, or at least go read the lyrics. Jeez, you know. So go think about that. That's my tip around that. Nothing too hard about that one.
Brilliant. So, like, among all of your accomplishments, which one makes you most proud so far?
My children, obviously. That's just such a, yeah, it's just my greatest. When I had my children, I was like, I'm actually Superwoman here, you know. And then I was like, wait, everyone has like so many women have babies, but we're all Superwomen because I realized how, oh my God, amazing we are. Like, we create life. And I just, you know, I've got this tattoo on my arm, which is never knew what I wanted until I looked into your eyes when I had my son, because I didn't. I was like, I don't want babies. And then he came along and I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. I still look around and I go, oh my God, there's 2 little people in my house. You know, like it's, but by far they are just the greatest thing that ever happened. And I'm just grateful they chose me.
That's amazing. I love that. So like, do you have a story where you realize what an impact you've had on someone? Like,
I don't know, like, I don't know. And I think how you started the call and, you know, sharing that people follow and you don't necessarily know that they do, or know that anything that you have to say or have to share or how you show up makes any impact. And I think it's important to remember that, because if you are going about based on the immediate feedback of people around you, you will, like, it will cost you. It will affect you. And it will limit how much you can, you like that knowing. And because those kinds of things, they mean everything to me, because you just realize how much of an impact you can have just by being you.
beautiful. That's great. So I guess with everything that you do, what brings you the most joy, even with all the hard work?
Brings me the most joy. I do love the work. I love the challenge. The thing that I love about, like, this business, obviously I love sharing and I love to teach, and when I can connect with people that just get me, when we can be in flow together, that is everything to me. Like, that's what I live for in this business. It's so amazing when you can connect with people that just get you and you can thrive together, you know. And yeah, I absolutely adore that part of the business, you know. And that is another thing that will get me out of a funk, you know. If I'm going all like, oh, wah, wah, I will just, I guess, nourish myself with that. And I will jump on a call and I will chat with someone and we'll just get in flow together. And that excites me all the time.
Amazing. So, like, Jess, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
I see you. Look, a superpower. Oh, I have lots of superpowers. I feel like I can read people really well. I do. I feel like I see potential in people. I definitely have had that conversation on a lot of occasions where it's something that I've said or done or an idea or something, and it's that something that I have done has compelled somebody to take action. And it's because I see people for who they can be, and based on, and it's who they are in front of me, but it's always, who you are in front of me. Who you were has nothing to do with who you are in front of me. I will always look forward. So I enjoy that.
Sensational. So a final question for tonight is, if you had a billboard and the entire world could see it, what would it say?
Oh God. I don't know. This is like you're asking me for my favorite quote or something.
I don't know. Just go for it. Like, I love seeing the response I get from this question when I ask it. It's like our signature question.
God. I would not have a clue. I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I wouldn't want it to be something cliche. I need to think about this, Joel.
Oh my goodness. Well, if you had to be put on the spot, what would your placeholder be? And when you come back, I'll ask it again, and you can give me your thought about answer.
I don't know. Like, I'd love to say just like a big photo of me.
There you go. That's it.
I don't know. Like, that'd be cool. I'd love that.
We've had like the full spectrum of answers. We've had like really insightful, like thought-provoking ones, and I had a guy on who's like really hardcore internet marketer, sales guy, and he said, "Buy my shit."
No, and then Jess comes on and she's like, "Can you just put me on it?"
There you go. It's self-promotion, right? It's impacting. So yeah, like I've got notes here. It's like to impact, inspire, and influence. That's how you do it. You put your face on a billboard.
Yeah, that's it. And I love that. So I'd be happy to come back and do another training.
We'd love to have you on, and like we can get really like specific. You can do whatever you want. Like, we just open the floor for you. So as you see,
awesome.
Look, Jess, I don't usually finish like this, but like I'm reading this book right now. And the language you're using and the way you go about your business and your life is like literally reading, like I'm reading this book. I was sitting here just going, has Jess just like read this book and she's like reproducing? Like, it's amazing. Like, if you haven't read it, like it's sensational. Like it's part of a challenge that I'm doing, and I have to read like books every day. And I usually listen to audio, but I'm reading this one. I've listened to it before, but yeah, that you're having.
While we're talking about books, can I share like a recent read?
Go for it.
Okay. Everyone, or every like woman out there, go and read Elena Cardone, Build Your Empire. Oh my God. That is amazing. I love it. I loved it. So you're welcome. That was good.
She's brilliant.
That was recommended by Kira, I think last week or the week before. And I just got into it, and it was just so, it was just amazing, really, just giving yourself that permission to go and create your empire, and why we need to, like that saying no to normal, you know, say no to normal. There you go. That might be a billboard.
We can go across your photo.
Next to my head. That's
next
right.
to your head in a speech bubble. Yeah. So, like, I agree with anything that the Cardone's right. And
Love
Elena I've been lucky to meet her in person a couple of times, and she's absolutely phenomenal and so real. Like, she got on stage at the first 10X Growth Con, and what Grant did to her, she had this speech ready, and he read it as she was going out, and he goes, "No, that's no good," and he took it off her, and she had to go out there and just wing it. And she had me choking up. Like, I was like, holy shit, she had so much impact. And then I met her out the back later, and she was like, I was like, you stole the show. And she's like, really? Was it good? I was really worried. I didn't think anyone would like it. And I'm like, how human is that? Like, she's got this massive, nearly $1 billion empire. She's like, writing books, and she's just normal. Like, we can all do it, guys.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. She comes from, you know, a humble background. She wasn't born into, you know, the money. And I love all her philosophies and how she's really played her role in building their empire. I love it. So yeah, great.
Fantastic. All right. Well, guys, you can take yourselves off mute. I'm going to stop the recording, and let's give Jess a big thank